I'm not sure how you have off-season problems at the start of the season.
It's very, very difficult.
That's the Southampton end. They're in yellow today, so they've adorned their yellow shirts.
They're all here, by the way. That just shows you how much it means to the Southampton. This is the first time. Was it in 20?
In a long time.
Their end has been full for
Arsenal
some time.
supporters, they're used to it. They're still not in their seats. Yeah. Funny to see this. They want to soak up the atmosphere.
Mark,
that was a good combination of Southampton strikers, wasn't it? One that believes and one that wants to believe.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You just wonder how many chances they'll get today, Mark, really. Is that and when they get them, they've got to finish them off.
Exactly. I mean, the ratio of chances that Southampton will have today in comparison, you would feel, with the chances Arsenal will create is obviously crucial to who's going to win the game, I feel. But it's a game that I think a lot of people have said that it's one you can't call. And really, you shouldn't be able to say that. You would think the quality and the strength that Arsenal have in their squad against Southampton.
Do you think there's a degree of wishful thinking in that, though?
Well, possibly.
I don't think you have to look at the facts.
There's just something in the air, I think.
So many problems. They've had fitness test on Martin Keown this morning. They've got Sol Campbell out. They've got their big engine, Patrick Vieira is not playing. And it's all problems for them. It's not a lot of good sort of sounds coming out of the Arsenal camp at the moment. It's been all the shenanigans with David Seaman in the papers this morning. It doesn't seem like a happy camp, whereas with Southampton, they're looking forward to it. They've played really well. They've shown they can play this competition the right way in putting pressure on any team they meet, but also play the game. So I think, I mean, a lot of people say Arsenal, it looks like it favours Arsenal.
Well, I think if the game was 6 months ago, Southampton would have no chance. If it was 3 months ago, they had very little chance. Now, I think they've got a realistic chance. If you look at the game where Southampton beat Arsenal at St Mary's, what Strachan did was he identified a weakness, and it was Seaman on the day. And he just bombarded that position. And I think what you'll find, Seagan's obviously not playing today.
Luzhny.
I think that you'll find that Beattie will go right on Luzhny, and I think they'll just pummel up to him and say, right, feed off the scraps and go from there.
Well, any team will miss Campbell and Vieira, won't they? I mean, defensively as well.
Well, obviously
well.
Campbell.
I think they've had a problem all season recovering from Tony Adams retiring. Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason for them not winning the championship. And with Sol Campbell has played really well with Martin Keown. They've kept it together. Spells, but Martin Keown is not 100% fit. Sol Campbell is not. He's suspended.
But Mark as well, Vieira. I mean, you're talking about from box to box where he's absolutely brilliant, but people forget he's great in there as well. You know, defensively, they're going to miss him.
Winning second balls in front of the back four as well. They will miss that feature of Patrick Vieira's game. I think the point you make about Southampton will recognise the weakness in Arsenal's defence, and they will knock those balls in there. But you have to understand that they're a good footballing side as well. When they get in the right areas, they have the ability to pick the right pass and pick people out in areas that will get them chances.
Let me just interrupt you for a second. We know there's not a single Saints player with cup final experience. Arsenal, on the other hand, have plenty, including two players, Ray Parlour and David Seaman, who are about to equal Mark Here's record FA Cup final appearances. Here they are with Garth Crooks.
It's a great day. It's a great day out for the players, for the fans.
To play in five, I've been so lucky, and I've played with some great players, and 3 in a row now, which is fantastic.
Let's groove again.
What do you remember of '93?
The day before the cup final, I couldn't sleep, and I was thinking, it's the biggest game of my life, Wembley. I think on the day I froze a little bit. I got dropped for the replay. It was good, but it was very nerve-wracking.
We was going back to the hotel on the coach, and we went up a little bit of the M1, and there was a load of Chef Wednesday fans in the cars, like coming up the side of the bus, and they were giving it all the verbals and the signs and all that sort of thing. It just happened to be that I was sat next to the FA Cup, so I just picked it up and put it up to the window.
We needed to win the double.
Alan Shearer hit the post, and I told him I got it covered. But he weren't having it.
It was a fantastic day. That was probably one of the highlights of my career, really. That first double, and I think I got man of the match that game as well. We threw it away really at the end, and trying to get that second goal. We got it to 1-1. Instead of going into extra time, we wanted to get that second goal, and they caught us on the break.
I got a touch on it, which I thought was enough to keep it round the post. In a way, that was good for me, because it made me appreciate what winning is about.
This time next year, you can find me on the river's end. Let's do it.
We'd been under the cosh for quite a while. It was like half decent save. You know, I was at the full stretch and it was my left hand. And it was a case of stopping it first and then lifting it over the bar.
Talk me through that goal.
Chelsea, it was just one of my normal goals really. To pick the ball up on my own half and run with it. I looked round, there was no one there, so it was one of them, you know, why not have a go? And lucky enough, it went in the top corner. That will always be special.
And so to Arsenal's third final in a row, though this time they'll have to play with a makeshift defence and without their midfield talisman, Patrick Vieira.
Patrick's a massive blow, you know, to any team. Hopefully I can play in that central midfield role, which, you know, I've played in the last 3 or 4 games. I enjoy that, you know, it's a good role to play. But, you know, I'm an experienced player now. I've played a lot of games for Arsenal, played in, as you say, 5 cup finals. So hopefully, you know, I should be able to handle that, no problem.
For David Seaman, today's game is a chance to prove he's the best in the country after the disappointment of being dropped from the England squad.
Will you retire now from international football?
No. I've always said, Garth, that when I retire from England, it's the day that I retire from football.
So is it fair to say, if you won't retire from international football, you're not going to retire from domestic football?
No, when I retire from domestic football, that will be it, you know, which will be at the end of next season.
So win or lose, come the end of the FA Cup final, David Seaman will be looking forward to next season.
Yeah, but David Seaman still won't know at what position it will be.
What do you mean?
I've had a chat with the manager and he said that he's going to decide at the end of the month as to what role I'm going to be having at Arsenal.
So your future is, to some extent, in Arsene Wenger's hands?
Yeah, no, it is.
So
there's no doubt about it.
So if he was to say, David, you're not going to be first team choice, but I'd like you to be coach, for example,
yeah,
would that be the end?
I don't know. That's the decision that I would have to make in the summer, because there is other clubs.
Interesting stuff there. Well, you can quite clearly see he doesn't know whether he's going to be playing for Arsenal next season.
I personally think he will be playing for Arsenal. You don't discard somebody unless you've got somebody to bring in.
Well, in that case, why hasn't Wenger said, I still want him next season?
I don't know. There's all sorts of speculation why. David Seaman ain't going to be the goalkeeper he was 15 years ago. Father Time dictates it, agility-wise, moving to the feet-wise, you're never going to be the same keeper, but he's still the best keeper that they've got.
But you felt it was time to call it a day at the end of this season. Do you think the same will be true of David?
No, I think there's a difference, because with me, it was the daily stuff I didn't like anymore. And it sounds like he's got the hunger for that. He still likes to train, still likes to come in every day. But
same age as you, look, 39.
Yeah, but he's 3 stone thinner.
Thanks for that. I've only been retired for a week. You've already noticed.
It's a magnificent career. It really is.
He's made a few great saves in his time, and probably none better than the one in the semi-final, which you raved about.
This is why they're here now, because that is a magnificent save, but the importance of saving that is the difference between Arsenal being on holiday now and in the FA Cup final.
Mark, you wouldn't be happy as a striker if he'd pulled that one out of the bag, would you?
No, he's frustrated me over the years, but I think it comes down to whether or not they get a replacement in the summer. I think it's common knowledge that Arsenal have been looking for a keeper to replace David for a number of seasons now, and they haven't managed it up to this point, so who's to say they will be able to do that in the summer?
I thought you were going to jump influential as well.
Yeah, well, he's taking Vieira's place. Well, it's difficult.
Plus, he's the most competitive player. You watch the game. We watched the game against Leeds where they lost the championship. He's the only one that's putting his foot in. And if we get Southampton's tactics right, they're going to be out. There's going to be into them quick. You've got to compete. If you don't start quickly and compete, then you're history.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be very important for Arsenal today. As I said before, Patrick Vieira is the engine in the Arsenal, has been the engine. And I think when he's not playing, Parlour is as close as they can get to him in terms of getting the drive in the team. And with Southampton, the way they play, it will be a physical battle as far as that. They will try to make it a physical battle.
Now, it seems like I've referred to this a number of times today, but just in case you've just tuned in, this will be the first cup final ever to be played indoors. A rainy day in Cardiff has meant that they have closed the roof, but the spectators inside the stadium will remain dry. And what a colourful scene it is, and the Southampton fans are really getting up for it now in particular.
Well, I mean, it's 15 minutes to kick off. The atmosphere is great, but it's going to be absolutely fantastic when the teams come out. And as a player, I've said time and time again, it's the highlight coming down that tunnel, and you hear a crescendo, a noise like you'll never believe.
You wait 27 years to reach a cup final, you put that on your head.
You turn up like that. That's disgraceful.
What about Southampton fans are going to really enjoy the day. I mean, they waited so long for this. For a lot of seasons, they've had to worry about relegation, and this time of the year, to have an occasion like this.
Mark, your final thoughts? Do you think Southampton can do it? And
I think they can. I think we.
But will they? I'm put you on the spot now, all of you.
Different question. I think if they score first, I think they'll go very close to winning.
Does that mean you're going for Southampton or Arsenal?
I'm not too sure, actually.
Crikey, Trevor Brookings.
As an ex-player, I would like to see them win.
Peter?
I've got a feeling about Southampton today. They will win.
Yeah. And Alan, I know you're...
Well, I've been sitting here for an hour talking about the flaws of the Arsenal side and where they've gone wrong and how bad they are and complacency, whatever. And it therefore follows that I'm going for an Arsenal victory.
Well, I can't believe that, because I was going to go for Southampton.
Oh, you're going for Southampton?
Yeah, only because you convinced me, and now you've gone for Arsenal.
Yeah, but it's nice for me to go for Arsenal and you go for the opposition.
All right, well, I'll go for Southampton then. Right.
And then, of course, Mark's gone for nobody, which is great.
Which is normal, guaranteed. Might even go to penalties, who knows. Right, the 122nd FA Cup final. Arsenal versus Southampton. Your commentators, Trevor Brooking, and for a record-breaking 24th Cup final, John Motson.
Raincoat and Trevor's in his shirt sleeves may be confusing you, but he's so used to being a manager down on the bench now that he discarded the jacket about 3 weeks ago and he hasn't put it back on anyway. Welcome again, Trevor, to the Cup final. Gary, it's a far more important record that we're witnessing today in FA Cup history. It's Arsenal's 16th appearance in the final, surpassing Manchester United's 15 as they attempt to retain the trophy, something only Newcastle and Tottenham have done in modern times. The Gunners' supporters, young and old, have relished their club's affection for the famous trophy, although not many were around for Arsenal's first final. That was in 1927, and it's worth a mention, if only because the team they beat in the semi-final was Southampton. One of only 2 previous meetings in the Cup between the clubs, and the side that beat Arsenal in the final that year was Cardiff City. And for years they used to say that was the only time the Cup went out of England. Now it comes out every year to this fabulous stadium, and it will do so again until we get the new Wembley, maybe in 3 years' time. And I'll tell you one thing, Trevor, that roof, it doesn't half keep the sound in. Can you hear what I'm saying?
Just about, I think, John. No, it is a terrific venue, and certainly the Southampton fans, the lads said, look at that there. They are absolutely, enjoying every second of this afternoon. I think, it's important for their side to get off to a good start, but they've come for a good day out. Gordon Strachan wants to give them something to shout about, and let's hope they do themselves proud.
Yes, if Arsenal are the season cup campaigners, Southampton too have their history. They were actually in the final back in 1900, lost to Bury, and their climactic moment in 1976 is part of FA Cup folklore. It's sad that earlier this week, Laurie McMenemy, who isn't here today, was one of the mourners at the funeral of Jim Clooney, his assistant on that memorable afternoon. But maybe appropriately at this moment, the time has come for the Cup final hymn, Abide With Me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Abide With Me.
For the powerful singer Tony Henry, who 18 months ago was literally singing for his supper in a London restaurant. He was spotted by record producers. He now has, looks pretty pleased about it too, a £3 million 5-album contract, and he was accompanied there by the band of the Prince of Wales division. Tony will also be singing the national anthem in a few minutes' time, but I think he's enjoying the atmosphere as much as any of us.
At the MILLENNIUM Stadium.
Now, I was just mentioning one or two Southampton people, and I ought to say too that the club's octogenarian president, Ted Bates, can't be here today. He's not well enough. But the retiring club secretary, Brian Truscott, celebrates 30 years service with this, his last match, the FA Cup final. So, the scene moves to the tunnel. Arsene Wenger. You had a long chat with Arsene before the game, Trevor, down by the dressing room there?
Yeah, he was asking me how I found the other side, and he is a very charming man. I had a long chat with him a couple of weeks ago. We were watching Arsenal West Ham's reserves play, and he was talking about their run-in and how they'd slipped up in a couple of games, but they've still had a wonderful season, terrific entertainment. It's got a lot of goals. They have just conceded too many. He mentioned that as well, and at the wrong times. And it's not, if you're going to end up certainly winning the Premiership, I think it's 42 goals he said they've conceded. That's probably too many.
Did you manage to exchange a little note or two about what it's like to be a manager?
Well, just a bit, I think. To be honest, I didn't get too much into that, Grant, because I think he's got a little bit more experience and a bit of an edge on me on that one.
You've both got different things on your mind today. Let's enjoy the atmosphere in the Millennium Stadium as the teams enter the field for the first FA Cup final to be played under a roof, the final of 2003.
Ladies and gentlemen, led out by the FIFA Fair Play banner, please welcome Arsenal and Southampton.
Well, you can say what you like about other competitions, other occasions, other big football tournaments, but the FA Cup still retains a special flavour of its own. Two young mascots, by the way. It's a big day for them. In fact, all the players accompanied by a child, but the two official mascots, 10-year-old Jude Smith, the junior gunner from Cambridge, is the Arsenal mascot, and 10-year-old Joshua Harris is representing Southampton as they wait for the official FA party to come out and be presented. Just look at these flags and scenes here. I don't think I've ever seen it as colourful as this, Trevor.
Well, Southampton are just brought anything and everything, and you can see there's going to have to be a few balloons, I think, cleared from the pitch, but they're absolutely relishing the occasion.
Here comes the guest of honour, Sir Bobby Robson. This is a a privilege that used to be accorded to royalty in days gone by on Cup Final Day, but nobody better, I think, than the knighted Newcastle manager to be fulfilling this role. Incidentally, Southampton lost the toss for colours, but they did wear this yellow and blue strip, not the same one, I hasten to add, when they won it in 1976. And Gordon Strachan, who's had so much influence on Southampton since he took over in October 2001. Referee, we'll mention him again later, is Graham Barber, and his two officials, his two assistants, I should say. It's a big moment for them too. David Seaman now to introduce the Arsenal team. His face is pretty familiar, although Freddie Ljungberg's had his head shaved since he scored those goals in cup finals gone by. And the experienced Martin Keown gets a pat on the shoulder. It's Jeff Thompson, the FA chairman, accompanying Bobby Robson. And we shall shortly be observing the national anthem, sung again by Tony Henry.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem.
Was expecting La Marseillaise there, but anyway, it was well received, the national anthem, and the French winger, who could do a lot of damage. Be interested to see which side of the pitch he starts, in fact, Perez. But in a moment we'll give you a final check on the two teams. But I think you may have already got a good idea by now who's playing. And they're going to do it over the loudspeaker again, as the players shake hands in the familiar fashion now.
5, Martin Keown. 7, Robert Perez.
So David Seaman captains an Arsenal side in which Oleg Luzhny will play in place of the suspended Sol Campbell. In midfield, Ray Parlour required to compensate for the injured Vieira. Parlour, like Seaman, chasing his 4th winners' medal. Ljungberg chasing his 3rd consecutive cup final.